once I completed my macro work, right, now I'm going to save the file. So I'm going to go to file and I save this, right, and in my PC, right, and I paste this in desktop. I paste a file with the desktop. I put the name as add. So add does proj 1. So and I click save over here. So you find that there is a dialog box is opened in front of you and it says that the following features cannot be saved in macro free workbooks. To save a file with these features, click no and then choose a macro enabled file in the file type list. To continue saving as a macro free workbook, yes. So normally you have to be, it is a little bit tricky because, right, so you have to be very careful. Most people will click just click S, right, and you find that the file is having a macro inside it and it will not save. So you will lose all the macro work that you've done inside your Excel. To save the macro, just click the no button. Okay, no. Then what you have to do is that you have to save by selecting, by pulling this down, and Excel macro enabled workbook. Select that and you make it, it will get, that's it. Okay, I will just close this Excel, and here you have in the desktop you find add project 1 over here. So in this case I will open this once again, the file, the Excel file, which is in macro. So you find that here it says that there is a security warning, right? You find the yellow bar given over here, right? The yellow which has been highlighted, and it says that security warning, macros have been disabled. You have to enable the content. So you can work with only with the macro when it is being enabled. Okay, it means that defaultly the macros have been disabled and we have to click on it until we don't have any problems on it, right? So when I say enable content, so once again it gives you a security warning. Do you want to make this file a trusted document? Since we are working with the macros, anyone can tamper in the file, right? So it is a little bit risky in nature. So because I'm working with the macros, but I require it, so I just click it as yes. Right, so when to go to developer tab, right, you find the record macro, use relative references, then you have macro security over here. So you can customize the macro security settings, right? Click the macro security, trust center dialog box will open. So in this you can defaultly it will disable VB macros with notification. That is what we are getting here. So it is up to us to disable VBA macros without notification, disable VBA macros except digitally signed macros, and enable VBA macros. So now it says that not recommended and potentially dangerous code can run. So in this session we have seen on how to save the macros. So next we will be seeing what is happening in the backend part, right? So I go to macro, right, and first is run. It will run the macro add where this variable will be getting added. So in next step what I'm going to do is that I go to step into, I just click into step into, it will go to backend where it will open the Microsoft Visual Basic for applications. So you find that automatically it has created the code over here, right? So add, okay, it's a sub procedure and it is showing you what is the activity that we have done. So these are the events that what we have done. So we have selected the range G4, right? We are selecting the range G4, it's a cell, right? So what we have done first is that we have selected the range. So this is G4, right? G4 is the cell, we have selected it, right? Then R17 row 1 and column 1 where we have assigned the value 34. In similar way you go for range H4. So range H4, right? H4 which is 56. So value we are assigning 56. So one by one whatever the activity we do, it has been turned out into coding path, right? So then you have, so this is the default the Excel automatically takes into consideration, but we have to do some editing over here so that as per the requirement, as per the user requirement, we can understand the code, right? One more macro code, macro 2 is also that you have, this is your add, macro 1 is add, and the macro 2 we have done with the help of the user, right? Use relative references. Second macro we have done with the user relative references, use relative references. So here it says active cell offset 1,0 range a1 dot select